seatbelts, touch all your connections, touch your Hans. Just make sure you get everything like you want it. Touch all your seatbelts, touch all your connections, touch your Hans. Just make sure you get everything like you want it.
Well, good evening, Sigma Race fans. We come at you live here tonight from Texas for the Texas Cowboy Shooter 100. And tonight we might start seeing a championship become a little bit more distinguished. And by that I mean the points battle between 4 drivers right now might start to look more like 3 or even 2. Or it could grow to even about 5 possible drivers, or 6 with some luck here for a couple people that are a little bit further back. And so here we go. With no further ado, let's get rolling with tonight's race here at Texas. 100 miles, 67 laps is the distance. These ARCA drivers looking to try and establish themselves as a champion here in 2025. On the front row, you've got the Outlaw, Snake Plissken, alongside recent winner there, Mason Alexander III. The Outlaw gang continues on into the next row here as you got Philip Purpura and Cassie Perkins, Aiden Sparks, and Silent Amethyst for LFG Motorsports. Another one of the Outlaw gang, you got Tim Morse alongside Jeremiah Pate, Ace Vaden, and Chase Kovacic. Your current points leader, Ryan White, starting about 10th here alongside Reese Landry, Carlos Eduardo and Juliana Bold, Joseph Hayes and Paul Valenzuela, Craig Bush and Ralph Oberstadt. Oberstadt could still find his way up into the top 5 in points with a little bit of luck here tonight. It's going to be a long shot, and it could be elimination time tonight if he's not lucky. Lenora Hathaway alongside Tasha Wright, Jonah Burridge. Actually, before I go to the next row, congratulations to Tasha Wright on getting her first career win in the Truck Series last night in the West Division. Next in the row, though, you got Jonah Burridge, who sits second in the points, looking to hunt down Ryan White, Pedro Sales, Jimmy West, Kyle Chestnut, Gabe McDuffie, and Derek Hipcam. Tyler McCarroll and Chris Jeremio, Santi Messi and Shy Turtle, Campbell Marsh and Brandon Butler II, followed by Finley Herwig and Kaylee Sheets, Astro Atlas and Heen Clutchoke, TG Castlenut and Stephen Miller, Billy Lovejoy and Cooper Landry, Timothy Buchanan and Alex Duell, with Sebastian Galloway Jr. rounding out the field here in tonight's 67-lap affair. Try to give as much of a play-by-play on the points as they run here tonight. It may not be the most professionally put together points analysis, but I'll try my best. All I know is Jonah Burridge, Santi Messi, and Finley Herwig definitely need a lot of ground to make up here tonight. As we get rolling here, 67 laps is going to go by in a flash. Texas is going to be a quick race here. These ARCA drivers raring and ready to get to the end of the season here. After tonight, they have a short track in Meridian, an intermediate to super speedway size track in Pocono, and then a super speedway with Mars. Super speedway rounding out the season here. And we already saw how chaotic that race was last night. Having a championship decided on the moon is going to be slightly problematic for these ARCA drivers, but let's hope for the best. You know, you've got the opportunity to tie things up now. You might as well try to do it before making it to the season finale. Just like that, already mid-pack is the 70 of Ryan White. Trying to see where Santi Messi might be running in the field here tonight. Got a little bit of three-wide action here in front of Finley Herwig. No surprise here as the Outlaw Gang are already off to a 1-2 start. Snake Plissken and Philip Purpura both making a move up into Bridge to Cup next season. Getting the quick call up. Mason Alexander has been hanging around pretty solid here the last couple weeks. Looking like a threat for wins next year, perhaps. Here we have Purpura looking to try and take the lead away from Plissken. Plissken cuts the line there. I am having trouble finding the 5 of Santi Messi. Did he not happen to make... Oh, there he is, the Skittles car right there. Right alongside Ryan White. Jonah Burridge not quite in the picture yet, but Ryan White mid-pack early in this one. It's Jonah Burridge up in front of him now, up into 16th. So Burridge trying to knock down that points tally. He's got 28 points to catch up to the leader, Ryan White. Fastest lap now belongs to Snake Plissken. That didn't take long at all for him to jump to the top of the speed charts there as he leads the race with the fastest lap so far. Here comes Mason Alexander the third, though. He's going to have a run on the 52. He takes a dip down low on that fusion of Purpura. 53 is going to be one better in more cases than one. He's going to get by for second here. 53 plus 1 over the 52. That allowed for Snake Plissken to kind of start driving away there. Nah, and the game crashes. Okay, folks, so we obviously have plenty of time tonight. I am going to reset this broadcast. I don't know why this thing always crashes on me. Well, reset of the broadcast, and it's a outlaw trio at the front, switching it up here. Full force restart as Chronicle Error struck the field here, forcing a full-on restart. And now you got Tim Morse jumping to the lead on Snake Plissken there. Philip Perper in third. Astra Atlas in fourth. Let us look in the field and find out where our championship contenders set right now. Highest in the running order is Santi Messi. Second to that is Finley Herwig. Third, Ryan White. And so Jonah Burridge must be the deepest here. Yeah, there he is. Further back behind the 70 of Ryan White is Jonah Burridge. So a little bit of a shakeup. Think about it like going on your Spotify playlist and hitting the shuffle button. That is exactly what happened here in the Sigma ARCA field tonight. A big on shuffle button reset. We've already got a little bit of drama here on the first lap. The 43, that is Brandon Butler the second. I could hear the noise of a car crunching the wall. What exactly happens here? Oh, he connects with, Violet. Silent. Yeah, there's so many names I just fudged right there. Silent Amethyst got wrecked there by the 43 of Brandon Butler the second, and we stay green with Tim Morse out front leading still. Snake Plissken showing a little bit of a little bit of restraint. It seems like the teammates or the rival, outlaw gang is kind of keeping him in check here tonight, as that 24 is not looking as fast on the reset shuffle. You got Ace Vaden here. So the only drivers with even a remote chance of figuring out a way to win the championship here outside of your top four would be Brandon Butler the second, Ralph Oberstadt, Heen Clutchoke, at probably the furthest being Carlos Eduardo. A little bit of luck here tonight. They could still make up about 70 points on Ryan White. With 3 races to go after this even, they can pretty much make up 70 more points in each consecutive race. So long, deep odds for those drivers, but you never say never until the final lap is turned. And so yeah, right there with Heen Clutchoke, he's actually running the highest of all the top 10 competitors in the point standings. He's sitting right there in 13th, just a few spots ahead of Santi Messi. Ryan White, on the other hand, though, running 20th. That's about where he was running prior to the shuffle. Looks like the 68 of Finley Herwig struggling, must have got stuck on the high side and is dropping like a rock. Sitting in 32nd at the moment. He's going to need to catch a break here to get back to the front, it seems like. Here we have Jonah Burridge slowly picking him up one by one into 23rd, as he has the points leader in his sights, just about 4 cars ahead of him. Yeah, so the game's going to crash on me as much as it has been lately. It's just going to become a new expectation that we'll figure out a way to make it right. wow, Snake Plissken took the lead away from Tim Morse there. Swap at the front of the field. The 24 back to the front. Tim Morse in second. And Astro Atlas now moving up to third as Purpura falls back in line fourth. Ace Vaden, Jeremiah Pate, Craig Bush, and how about Timothy Buchanan? We haven't seen a whole lot of him in the last few races that is. And showing up here tonight at Texas with a good run so far. 8th place, and it still looks like he's got the pace to maybe pick up a few more spots before the night's end. Ooh, Tim Morse swaps the lead back out. These two battling it out. Might be a good battle between the teammates at Al Bunch Incorporated. Ooh, then we gotta have some lap traffic in the mix. Silent Amethyst, her 12 car greatly wounded here. As they catch that 12, it's gonna be at a weird spot in the racing line. Pliskin might use that 12 to his advantage, but they're both going to almost make contact with the 12 there. Slicing and dicing through the traffic. They continue rolling without too much drama there. 24's knocking on the door, though. Here he comes, diving down the inside of turn 3. Side by side on the exit of turn 4. Pliskin checks out. So already, like I mentioned, this race is going to pretty much blow through here tonight. Should see at least one pit stop, I would wager. But that one pit stop might come right about lap 60, even 65. So drivers are going to have to be smart, figuring out maybe saving some fuel could win the race here tonight. Pliskin, on the other hand, I think he's going to be guns a-blazing, trying to just fly through the laps here tonight. But that strategy could also bite him in the butt. As the game tells us, the pit window is about 66 laps here at, so exactly 100 miles roughly they can go on a fuel tank, and that is going to be tight. Don't know who in the Sigma schedule makers decided that would be a good idea, but it could really throw us a curveball here tonight. I'm all for it. Very duly noted there on that statement, Finley. They kind of came out of the shadows. This almost feels like the Driver X scenario of a couple years back when Al Bunch was running under an alias of Driver X and all of a sudden started winning races, and the grand unveil was, oh wow, it's Al Bunch, you know? Well, part of this probably stems from the Al Bunch, team as it is, because this is Al Bunch's team hosting those two cars at the front of the field. Maybe they're kind of harnessing that Driver X power of their team owner, and it's really starting to show. One of the reasons why they're going to be pretty well fast-tracked through ARCA here into Bridge to Cup next year, where it might end up being the great equalizer. They're kind of big fish in a small pond here in ARCA, stealing wins from the drivers that are just trying to get established. Some of these drivers' history date back to leagues of NR2003 yesteryear. And so if you've seen Purpura or Morse, or even Pliskin for that matter, you've probably seen them over in the sign-on server on their NR2003 side of things. So very special to have them in the series, and seems like they're taking off like they never left their previous series. It does kind of make for an odd race at the end of the year, you know, odd races at the end of the year here, because our championship battle kind of becomes the side note, you might say. Santi Messi getting up into the top 10 here as Buchanan drops back to 12th. We'll look a little deeper on the points battle as they sit. Ryan White's moved up a couple spots into 17th. And 21st is Jonah Burridge. Yikes. And Finley Herwig still running 32nd here tonight. Maybe playing the long strategy. If he's saving his tires and saving his fuel, he might be waiting for everyone else to run it empty, and he could stay out and steal a win here at Texas. So it's never over until it's over. Hard to tell what these drivers have for a game plan here tonight, but something is going to unfold. The one thing they're going to need is for it to stay green probably the entire way for any of those strategies to actually pan out. But regardless, it's looking like the points battle is just going to kind of continue to string it along here, as Ryan White's not showing extreme speed yet. Ralph Oberstadt having a tough night as well, running in 38th. Carlos Eduardo 35th. Sebastian Galloway Jr. up into 31st. Derek Hipcam running 26th, the invert of his car number there, 62. Jimmy West in the 08. Had a good run in the trucks last night. Campbell Marsh has a long shot, but if he's going to finish where he's running right now, he'll probably be eliminated here tonight. Jonah Burridge starting to catch up to Ryan White here. Let's keep our cameras rolling on this battle. This could start changing the points in a different direction for the points lead. Ryan White holds the lead, 28 points over Jonah Burridge at the moment. But here comes Jonah Burridge knocking on the door. Jonah gets around the 26th there of Aiden Sparks. And the 34 trying to make a move on the 70 of Ryan White. He had to cut low and fall in line behind the 70 there. But it seems like the 34 is tired of dropping spots here, as he's going to try to fight back for 15th. Something that I'm hoping to do for the remainder of the races, probably every racetrack that I can, is get rid of the player-based pit stall. Since I don't need to be out there racing with the AI, that means every track should technically have 43 stalls for the AI to run around. Should be an easy fix. It might be a lengthy fix to get them all squared away, but it's a challenge I'm willing to accept, so that we can have 43 drivers racing every week. And then with the exception of a few tracks that we can get up to 46 on. Of course, those tracks may very well be our crown jewel races, where the field's already lengthier with a bigger group of drivers to begin with. And tonight you're seeing it here for the one of the first times that we've actually got 43 stalls at Texas, meaning we will pay points all the way back to 43rd. We do have in the system 43rd place points, and that, you know, adds an extra wrinkle too, since no one has retired yet. If someone like Ryan White were to have a blown engine right now, he would be credited with 43rd, which would be an extra point loss to the leaders that he's fighting with. Ryan White sits in 14th. He's hunting down the 63 there of TG Castlenut. For the drivers not in the title bout, they're simply trying to, oh, and like I just mentioned it, a blown engine could send you to 43rd here tonight. Heartbreak for the 63 of TG Castlenut, who just had a blown engine running in 13th place. If he can't make it back to the pits, it might actually throw a caution here. Extensive engine damage on the 63 as he goes driving through the grass here. He stalls on the apron. And Texas don't care. They don't give a what. They keep their green flag rolling here tonight. Drivers on that alternate strategy throwing up a Hail Mary, and their prayers were received, as they may be playing the long game here tonight on fuel mileage. As we are just past halfway now, 34 laps in, 33 laps to go. Some of these drivers at the front might start sweating bullets on the fuel numbers here tonight. Quite honestly, if I was a strategist right here, I would probably make them pit at about halfway. If I know you can make it 66 of the 67 laps, but at full pace like this, if you wait to pit up until lap 65, everyone else that's out there saving fuel is just going to run away with it. So the Outlaw Gang has quite a few forks at the crossroad here, and they got to decide what move to make. And then yet again, you never know with NR2003, maybe these guys will be able to go 67 laps without a pit stop. You'll just have to wait and see. It's none other than Philip Purpura leading the way right now, as Snake Plissken falls back to third, right behind Tim Morse, who's in second. Astra Atlas having a solid run here tonight as she's up to fourth. Fifth place is Mason Alexander III. Jeremiah Pate in sixth. Seventh is Heen Clutchoke. Eighth, Juliana Bold. And Craig Bush in ninth. Tasha Wright, 10th. Ace Vaden, Santi Messi, Ryan White. There's your points leader. Joseph Hayes, Jonah Burridge not too far behind, as he's now up to 15th. Trying to minimize the points loss here tonight on Ryan White. But all in the meantime are other title contenders deep in the field. Ralph Oberstadt, 32nd. Finley Herwig, 35th. Yeah, tough break for TG Castlenut, who's going to get credited with 43rd place here tonight. The worst points you can get in the Sigma ARCA series, and he unfortunately holds that honor here tonight. While the top three are trying to steal points away from the title contenders, Philip Purpura, Tim Morse, Snake Plissken, we still haven't seen the likes of Philip Purpura has gone to victory lane. Tim Morse has not quite gone to victory lane yet. So Tim Morse is still the odd man out in the Outlaw Gang without a win. But here's what's amazing. They've jumped up in the points with only making a couple starts. 5 starts from Tim Morse. He's up to 39th in the points. 4 starts from Philip Perpura. He's up to 48th in the points. And when I say that, let's put that in perspective. Out of 76 entries this year in the ARCA series, they've already cut it in half in a short period of time. Here's what's scary crazy. Snake Plissken, with only 6 starts, has had 3 wins and has climbed up to 27th in the points. I mean, if there was a few extra races at the end of the year, it wouldn't have been as crazy to believe that he could somehow catch up to the top of the point standings here. But he would have needed about 10 more races to do so, missing more than half of the races already this year. Drivers that we can just about consider eliminated from the championship. Looking back at Campbell Marsh, Cassie Perkins, Shy Turtle, Ace Vaden, Craig Bush, Tasha Wright, Kaylee Sheets, and just about everyone else behind them. That's your 9th to 15th in the points. Top 8 might get closer to elimination here tonight based on how they all finish. Plisken's running Perpura back down. Snake Plissken has a 50% win ratio here in the SIGMA ARCA series, so he's looking to try and keep that win ratio in the green. He gets by Philip Perpura, and here comes Tim Morse on the run as well. Switching positions, you've got Mason Alexander III up to 4th. Astro Atlas falls back to 5th. Jeremiah Pate in 6th. Heen Clutchhoke in 7th. His teammate Craig Bush running 8th. Juliana Bulge, he's running 9th. And Tasha Wright 10th. Here we've got Santi Messi, Joseph Hayes, Ace Vaden, and Ryan White. Jonah Burridge is distant behind the 70, but they're running 14th and 15th. $20 laps left to go. This one is going to be over before you know it here tonight, folks. High-speed racing action around Texas. This might very well be one of the quicker races that the SIGMA ARCA series has had in a long time. They don't run on the 1.5 mile tracks very often, but when they do, sometimes it's quicker than most of the leagues that SIGMA races at. Tomorrow night's going to be a long one, though. The SIGMA 600 from Daytona. 600 miles around Daytona. What could possibly go wrong? After this, I will try to get the sprint qualifier set up and may or may not host it over on Twitch, so ain't going to be commentating on it. But if anyone wants to tune in and see how the sprint qualifier goes here tonight, feel free to hop on over to Twitch as soon as I get it set up. We do have some ARCA drivers attempting the field for that one, as Finley Herwig is going to try to qualify in. Trying to figure out if there's anyone else. I know Finley is. He's still running 31st here tonight. That's not not good for that championship push at the end of the year here. He's at risk of deepening the debt on the points lead here tonight. See, the Outlaw Gang's doing it smart here. They keep swapping the leads, saving fuel, saving tires. But are they going to be able to save enough fuel? Are they going to be able to save enough tires? That is the grand question of it all. As we're now down to 13 laps to go, Tim Morse on a charge gets around Snake Plissken here. Side by side. These are the big dogs stealing all the wins from the small dogs here. And it's maybe wearing on some of these ARCA teams a little bit, knowing that these cars are beyond and above performing harder and stronger each week than they can even come close to. Rest assured, their reign in the ARCA series is going to be short-lived. They're gonna get out of it as quickly as Connor Zilich moving through the ranks. But a win is not a given here tonight. I still feel like they're burning too much gas up front. They may make a fool of me and shock us all, but there's no way they're going to have enough fuel to run it to the finish here. I'm liking the odds of some of the drivers outside the top 20 to try and save their fuel and have a good push at the end of the race here tonight. Crazy part is we're down to 10 laps to go here tonight, and that's kind of hitting their window. We might see them pit anywhere between now to lap 66 or not. The beauty of it all, you never know. Tim Morse on the back bumper of Philip Purpura. He's going to make an attempt there, but not quite enough as Purpura pulls away there, stretching that lead ever so slightly. So far, no takers down pit road, amazingly enough. Eight laps left to go now. The rest of the field, their lap time's dropping. They're slowing down, trying to save fuel, trying to hang on to the cars. Burridge gets by Ryan White for position here. That drops Ryan White back to 15th as Burridge and Santi Messi both are looking up to make points on the leader. Second and third in the points are in front of your points leader. It's just a heartbreak that Finley Herwig is nowhere in sight here. No cautions tonight. This race it's flying by. They've caught the lap traffic at the front of the field. The Outlaw Gang fighting for the win here tonight. And they're going to catch another lap car before the end of it here. The 43 of Brandon Butler II. Making a move on second there. That's going to be Snake Plissken looking to move up a spot. Their lap times have dropped off 2 full seconds here. Is Purpura going to pit? Nope, he's going to keep rolling here. But the lap times are starting to become very cautious as these drivers are just trying to baby it around the track here, knowing that that window is starting to open rapidly for pit stops at the end of a race. Even if it does turn into a fuel mileage race here tonight, everyone knew the objective here tonight, that they needed to save fuel to make it to the finish. And that'll be on whoever gets the job done here tonight. If someone fails to make the marks, that'll be on them. Jonah Burridge makes another move up to 13th now. Santi Messi 14th. Ryan White 15th. Finley trying to make up some spots at the end, but it's going to be too little too late, as he's only able to get up to 29th here at the moment. Your leaders, are they going to run out of fuel at the front of the field? How tight could this get? And if we get a caution here, there's going to be green-white checkers in effect. How close are they going to be on mileage if they get that caution? Do they have enough fuel for at least one green-white checkered attempt here tonight? We'll see. 43 having to pit. We already know that he was in a wreck earlier today, so there's no way that he's going to be able to make to the finish. 60 trying to get around the 52 here, as we still have another lap to go once they get around to the front of the field here. Tim Morse on Philip Purpura. He's looking for his first win here tonight around the high-banked oval of Texas. White flag waves, one more time to go. Well, maybe the 43 just kind of let up and let the leaders drive away with it here without too much getting in the way. So class act move by Brandon Butler there just to get out of the way. Here comes Snake Plissken side by side. Peters, he's out of gas, or is he? They're kind of just hovering there on the bottom lane. He wasn't able to get around Tim Morse. Morse rolls for the victory here tonight, keeping Snake Plissken at bay. And Burridge, Messi, White, 3, 2, and 1 in the point standings. Unfortunately, Finley Herwig just dug himself a little bit deeper of a hole here tonight. 28th place. It's not going to eliminate him, but he's surely going to fall back to about 80 points from the lead. Still very, very possible to get back those points. Short track at Meridian next week's going to be kind of a must-win for him to try and minimize the points lost. But then Pocono and Mars Super Speedway, those are wide open. Think about it. You know, short track race, he's going to kind of have to call his shots next week and gain points so that he can set himself up for a good run at Pocono and a great run at Mars Super Speedway. Congratulations to Tim Morse on getting the win here tonight. The Outlaw Gang stunk up the show. 1, 2, 3 from the trio there. And now Purpura, Morse, and Plissken all have a victory in their very young careers here in the Sigma Series. (23 of 26), 3 races left to go after tonight. Well, that is a wrap here tonight, folks. The Texas Cowboy Shooter 100 from Texas, and coming out victorious Tim Morse over Snake Plissken and Philip Purpura. I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up here on YouTube, and if you are interested, you can hop on over to Twitch and follow the sprint qualifier for the Sigma 600 Daytona race tomorrow. So with that, folks, I would love to wish y'all a great night. Stay safe out there, and until next time, this is Jakester signing out.